Welcome to CryptoWise. My name is Marvin.
And my name is Milton.
How you doing, Milt?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for today's show. Got a special guest. I love when we have a special guest, especially when our guest is as knowledgeable as today's guest is on Elrond and Celsius and a whole bunch of other stuff.
That is right. We do have a special guest, and you might have seen a sneak peek of him as we entered the show here, and that is Wesley Kress. Wesley Kress.
He's a must follow on Twitter. We'll tell you all about that when we introduce Wesley very soon.
But to our entire CryptoWise family, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already, please do us a huge favor and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell. That bell's going to get you real-time alerts when we drop live. And of course, our Twitter at CryptoWise Daily is blowing up, so you want to make sure to follow us there. And all our CryptoWise family must be in our Telegram group at CryptoWise Official. So make sure to join us at CryptoWise Official as well. Milton, how you feeling today?
Woo, it feels good. Every day I wake up and I'm just thankful that I'm in crypto, okay? Because crypto's where you gotta be. It's the future of everything. So if you are listening right now, you are in the exact right place you should be.
Yes, you are. You're in the right place. And as you guys know, we're doing a show every single day of the week, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, generally on time if Milt isn't screwing around.
We're never on time. That's a lie, Marv. We're always 10 minutes late, but one of these days we're going to be on time. I believe. You believe. But today was a good reason why we were late, because we were setting Wesley up. We had a little bit of technical issues there. That's why we were late. Well worth the wait for this conversation. I am pumped for today's conversation.
Yeah, I'm pumped too. I love these talks. Anyways, listen, the markets. What's going on in the markets? We're having a bit of a dip. Nothing major. Bitcoin at 61,000, just over. We got Ethereum at 44.87. BNB holding strong at 5,500. Solana pumped. It pumped yesterday and last night there, Milt. It is sitting at $238. It was over 240. It was creeping close to 250. Cardano's just under 2. We've got PolkaDot, though, also holding strong at 52.83. We know the parachains are coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Some of the crowd loans launched today. So people can start doing those crowd loans today. That's super exciting. And I don't
understand. What does that mean? It launched today. I thought they launched on the
crowd loans.
The crowd loans launched today.
So you can start adding your money into the crowd, or your DOT into the crowd loan. Of course. But the auction starts next week.
It starts on the 11th. That's right. So we got PolkaDot holding strong. Yes. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to comment in the comment box. Now, Mel, do we have a giveaway or something going on today?
Well, we do. Actually, today's a carryover from yesterday. So if you watched yesterday's episode, you know that we are giving away an Eggtomaton. This is an amazing NFT project. We're giving one of these beauties away. You will be one of the very first people guaranteed to get one of these amazing Eggtomatons. Look at these ones. So to be eligible, you had to retweet yesterday's tweet and you had to comment on yesterday's video. So last minute entries, if you want, you can maybe change my mind, but I have picked the winner. You're just going to have to wait to the end of today's show to find out.
Oh boy.
And just to give you guys a hint out there, because we've been doing these giveaways now for a couple of weeks, what really gets, underneath our skin into our heart, which makes us want to give you one of these NFTs, are the comments that you make on our YouTube videos, okay? The best comments really get our attention. So today, I feel like I've picked a person who's been watching our live shows, who's been commenting, very active. The more active you are as part of our community, the better chance you will get to win an amazing NFT, because we've been doing a ton of these giveaways.
These guys are very, very cool. Now, when we're talking NFTs, before we get into the main show here, Milt, there were a couple big things that happened yesterday in the Solana NFT space.
That's very true.
Our beloved stylish studs, their fine Philly ladies, dropped the other 2,500 and did a fair auction yesterday. And the current floor on these are 2.8 SOL. And I know you've been not only picking them up, I picked some up in the auction alongside you, but you've also been buying them secondary markets.
I've been buying. I mean, people who have been paying attention, you guys know I love, well, one, I'm into horse racing. These guys, so this project is building an amazing horse race metaverse that's going to be on Solana. These are part of them. You need to have the studs and the fillies to breed so you can get a racehorse in the game. And I was shocked yesterday. I think it was just bad timing or something. Because there's only 5,000 of the fillies, and you need a filly if you're going to breed a horse.
Yes.
They didn't even sell out like yesterday at the 2,500.
Well, I think it was the timing. I think
agree.
it was how it was timed. There was another, that's awesome. I'm super excited for that. That's a long-term play. Another one that dropped yesterday. A very interesting play.
Shadowy supercoder down.
Shadowy supercoder down. Now, it's lagging here, but these dropped. What was the mint price? 2.5
SOL. And yesterday, SOL was pumping as this was going on. So it was more and more expensive. Like 2.5 SOL is not nothing anymore.
Now, these are more than just a JPEG, however, because by minting these or owning these, they're actually going to be dropping 50% of, this was really an IDO via NFT.
Yeah, that's one of these things. So if you're listening right now and you're like, shut up about NFTs, we're not into JPEGs, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of innovation going on right now. So this project is actually a project that's building the infrastructure out for Solana. And instead of doing a regular IDO, they did these NFTs first. So you got to pay attention. A lot of innovation going on. Not all of these NFT projects are the same. Some of them, like Stylish Studs, are metaverse games. Some of them, like the shadowy coders here, are actually like buying the IDO, like buying the token in an IDO.
Yeah, so 50% of the actual supply of the token is going to be dropped to the NFT holders, which is super exciting. And then they'll have a small IDO. This is the first time this has ever happened, at least to my knowledge, on Solana. So that's exciting.
But the biggest news yesterday.
Yes.
Marvin is back in on Elrond.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
oh boy.
If you watch the show, you might have heard the story. You know the Bitcoin pizza story where some guy bought pizza with Bitcoin years ago, and now that pizza's worth like $1 billion or whatever. So really a while ago, over a year ago, Marv owed me money. I forget what it was for, but in my mind now, it's for pizza, and he paid me in the e-gold token. It was about $7 back then, and so we've got the e-gold pizza is the e-gold that I got from Marv.
No.
So Marv would never let me talk e-gold around him or Elrond. He would hate it.
No.
But we have Wesley on the show today. So last night he packed his bags full of Elrond. So we welcome Marvin back into the Elrond circle.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be back. Now I'm a little, you know what? Yes, fine, okay, but here's the thing. I got you. I was the one that dove you in. No. You were covering it, but you didn't have a bag.
You bought first. I'll give you that.
I bought a big
bag.
I
told you about Elrond, and you said, I'm buying, because this is what happens. I like to research. I'm slow. I keep researching.
Very slow.
And even before it's out of my mouth, I say, and he's like, I bought a bag.
That's right.
That's the
I
Marv
bought a
side.
big bag.
He's like, I bought a bag.
Because you can't be slow in crypto. Anyways, I bought a big bag. Then I was able to stake it and this and that and the other. And then I owed Milt some money. He says, why don't you just pay me an Elrond? You know, it's already pumped. It's at $7. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give you a bunch of here. Boom. Can I get my Elrond back?
That's how you do it.
The cash?
No. This is how you do it, guys. Get your buddies into crypto. Get them to buy the bags that you want, and then take them. Buy them a couple of drinks, whatever. Be like, oh, no worries, pay me back an Elrond. That's the way it's done, kids.
Well, you were right. I do now. I am locked and loaded. I bought a nice juicy bag. It was pumping last night. I think I'm right around where I bought it last night. But I got to say, I was in our Telegram group also talking to some of our beloved Telegram family, and they were showing me some of the amazing things that are happening pre-show for this.
Yeah, and I said to Marv, just watch my videos.
No, I don't watch them all.
All right, let's bring Wesley in because let's continue this conversation about Elrond. So much to talk about. Wesley Kress, welcome to CryptoWise, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, you got to unmute yourself there, Wes.
Wes isn't a YouTube. He's more of a Twitter guy. There he
Thanks
is.
so much for having me. Appreciate both of your guys' content. You guys do an amazing job, so comprehensive and put out so much content. And really appreciate all that you both do for the crypto community. So thank you.
Man, right back at you, man. Right back at you. I first really, I kind of was following, I found you on Twitter because you talk Elrond, and I do pay attention to the Elrond community. And then I watched a video that you did with Hashoshi, which is an amazing channel. You did a comprehensive chat there about Elrond, why it's your favorite network. I recommend people go out and watch that video, Hashoshi. It's a great channel, and Wesley's got a really comprehensive discussion there. This morning show, it's not going to allow us to get that deep into things, but just give us off the top, give us a bit of a précis, your kind of headline. What was it about Elrond? Maybe the top 2-3 things about Elrond that you really, because people listening, if you don't know Wesley, this guy has done his research. When we tell you to do your own research, go look at the research Wesley has done. This guy does his work. So give us the headline. What are the top 2-3 things about Elrond that really stood out for you?
Yeah, the top 2 or 3 things that really separates Elrond from everyone else is really the things that are preventing mass adoption from happening in crypto as a whole. So for one, obviously scalability is something that the entire space is focused on. And all the projects are looking to be able to scale, because obviously if you don't have scalability, the network fees just are too high, and it's unable for small users to actually participate within the network. Other networks have done quite a bit on the scalability issue, like Solana, like Matic, like Polygon. But what differentiates Elrond is, for one, decentralization, which is such an important key element. I tell people that with crypto, the big things that separate these networks is that we do have centralized systems, and we do have fairly secure, maybe not as secure as what crypto provides in terms of the blockchain. But what really differentiates it is decentralization. And obviously, decentralization is a complex topic, so we won't go deep into the details. But on top of that, what many of the people in the space are missing is the fact that the masses don't really care about the technology. They care about the usability and functioning of the interface of the applications at which they interact with. And so Elrond's approach was to simplify this significantly. So when they launched their Meyer application back earlier this year, it's been one of the biggest growth drivers of the entire platform. And the reason is simply because what they did is they integrated the most complex elements of blockchain into this simple, easy to use interface. So not only leveraging the low fees, but when you go and use the Meyer app, you see how easy it is to actually stake. The interface I would liken to sort of like the Apple interfaces, meaning they really focus on the simplicity over anything else. And they use something called progressive security. So progressive security is just allows someone to get inside the Meyer application while slowly adding more and more information as they get comfortable. And this really removes the friction barriers. And when we talk about like technology, some of the biggest prevention of adoption is really friction. And that's why, like, as much as people are in crypto right now, they aren't really using the networks all that much. They are holding the tokens or the coins that are tied to the networks, but really aren't deriving tremendous level of utility unless they are very enthusiastic. We call these people sort of the early adopters in technological cycles. On top of that, Elrond has really differentiated themselves in terms of grassroots community building.
Let me stop you there, because I feel like if we let you go, you might be here for 48 hours talking about how much you love Elrond, which is amazing. We love the passion, we love the knowledge. But I want to go back to Meyer just to explain to people, because I'm with you 100% here. It's about, so this time last year, I would, if a newbie asks me, okay, how do I get into crypto or whatever, I usually send them to like crypto.com, Binance, some of these are ones. I think Meyer is going to end up being my new one once the DEX launches. Right now, the app, I agree with you. The usability of the app, amazing. To buy stuff, super simple. Send stuff. If people like, two features that really stand out for me are you just sign up with your phone number. That's all you got to put. Boom. You put your phone number in, your identity is created. Secondly, you can create a hero tag, which is kind of acts as your address. So mine is just at Milton. Super simple. At Milton, I can receive tokens to my Meyer app. So if you're not on the Meyer app, download it, have a look at it. I do think once the DEX launches, and that's why we have Wesley on the show, by the way, big news in Elrond is the DEX. Their Meyer DEX is going to be launching, and we're going to talk about that next. But once that's on there, this is where I'm going to be sending people, the newbies who aren't in crypto yet, because it's super easy, and yet it's a decentralized platform. So I don't have to send them to the crypto.coms anymore. I'm going to be sending them straight to Meyer. So let's get to the big news. The Meyer DEX is about to launch. I believe it's launching on November 7th. And so let's talk a bit about this, and we're going to answer we had a bunch of specific questions that came in. Why don't you just tell people a little bit about the Meyer DEX, what it is, why we should be so excited about it, and then maybe some of just the info people might need to know to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd also recommend that if people are interested, if you follow the Crest Twins on YouTube, there is a very in-depth video on the Meyer Exchange, about 2.5 hours long, that goes into detail of what differentiates it. But just a top-level overview is most in crypto, the top developers that build these networks aren't actually the ones that are building the DEX, right? They aren't the ones actually building the dApps. Vitalik with Ethereum his team didn't necessarily build Uniswap or anything like that. But Elrond knew that one of the largest growth drivers of these networks was the automated market makers, decentralized exchanges. And with the Meyer Exchange, they aren't just building out an automated market maker like Uniswap. They're also going to be building out Aave, which is like a borrowing and lending component, which will also be tied to the MEX token. And then they will also be building out synthetics, which will be similar to like the Mirror protocol. And when they did this, they took a very different approach than most of the automated market makers in the net space in crypto. The tokenomics of the Meyer Exchange are very unique. And when it comes to crypto, right, the technology is very important, but the tokenomics and economics are actually equally, as if not more important. And what they've done is they've created really unique incentive structures to where most of the MEX tokens will be locked up for a year, about 90% of them or so. And they've also built in incentives to encourage long-term interest to be aligned by encouraging you to lock up your rewards in the MEX token when you do farming, yield farming. And so you get 2x the APR, which are already insane if you're familiar with bootstrapping and how these decentralized exchanges work, is essentially they increase the rewards in the beginning to distribute the ownership very rapidly to allow for both the decentralization of ownership as well as people to have aligned interest with the MEX token and the Meyer Exchange. So this is the first time that it will leverage all the components of state sharding. So you'll have the low fees, and you'll be able to leverage the simplistic user interfaces that Elrond builds. If you've interacted with the Meyer Exchange, they have a test net, and it's unlike anything within the space in terms of ease of use and usability and low fees and decentralization in terms of non-custodial. So there are so many elements of the Meyer Exchange that when you combine all the factors into one, it'll be the first in the space.
This is amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. Basically, it's going to be a kick-ass new DEX out there. And what Wesley said there, which is true, is that the team has actually built them themselves, and it's kind of this supercharged DEX in that it does a lot of what other platforms does. It doesn't just do what Uniswap does. It's going to do what Aave does and all that kind of stuff. And this is launching right on the 7th, right? Or when is the actual DEX launching? It says claim your MEX on November 7th, add liquidity on the 16th, so farming on the 19th. When is the DEX actually going to be live so people can swap? Do you know that, Wesley?
Yeah, so it will be the 19th, and the way they've done this is, on the 7th, if someone was, basically a part of the community around April 19th, there was a 12-week snapshot with people who held e-gold who are going to be able to claim the airdrop of MEX tokens on November 7th. And so people will be able to do that. And then on the 16th, you'll add liquidity. And the reason they made this sequential steps that they have is sort of to prevent any sort of manipulation in terms of like bots and front running and so forth. And so this progression will allow, and again, part of why I'm so interested in Elrond Network is that they consistently basically look out for the safety of the community. They're the only one with the Meyer DEX that have tested. They've even done a bounty program last month where they allowed for $100,000 bounty to try to break, right, the automated market maker and the DEX and try to hack into it. They've also tested things on the network endlessly. And this is really important from a reputation standpoint, and it's also important from a confidence standpoint. When we talk about like adoption is the number one thing that actually allows these networks to thrive. And in order to demonstrate, safety and risk and so forth, by doing real world testing where you have bounty programs and so forth, you get a much different readiness to the automated market maker and the Meyer Exchange than maybe some of these other ones that are just launching. Their tokenomics or highly inflationary. A lot of people hear about these rug pulls and so forth, but based on the next tokenomics, that is not going to be the case. And so they've really, again, taken the community's interest. And that's why you have such a passionate community with Elrond, is because they're always making the strategic steps for the best interest of everyone.
Yeah, I totally agree. And they already have 500,000 users, I believe, of Meyer. So wait, I have to ask this question before I let Marvin here, because I have a selfish question here.
Oh boy.
Okay. I was one of those people you're talking about. I had my Elrond stake. I got my Elrond bags. I don't even look at them. I love them. They're staked in my Elrond wallets, in my secret computers all over the world. But I'm stuck here at Marvin's house for the next few weeks. So I'm not going to have access to those wallets on the 7th to get it. Should I worry about this? Am I going to be able to claim my MEX that I earned like a month from now?
No, send it to me.
Yeah, so you should be able to, I believe you should be able to claim for quite some time. I mean, originally when they did the bridge from the ERC to the eGold token, the XRD to the eGold token, I think it was ERD to the eGold token.
ERD, right.
They have done, that bridge is actually still live. It is actually finalized. I believe it will be closed fairly soon.
So I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. I'm going to be able to claim these MEX tokens. Okay, good. And Marvin's got to keep his paws off my MEX because he's a newbie Elrond. He just got in last night.
We share.
I have a feeling Benjamin is probably watching, the CEO of Elrond. I think he's an avid watcher. He's an avid watcher. So just confirm, Benjamin, with us that's it.
I don't believe that there will be if there's a timeline, I think it will extend for, a little while. In the same way that it did with,
for the record, Milton is not stuck at my house. I am stuck with Milton for the next 2 weeks.
Well, I got here and I refuse to leave now because he's got this palatial estate. Wesley, you got to come to Marvin's palatial estate. If anyone wants to see what crypto can do for your life, come see how Marvin lives for a couple of days.
Damn right. Life is short, guys. Life is short. We must enjoy the benefits of our hard work here in crypto.
All right, Marv, you got what do you want to know about Elrond?
Well, there's a few questions that are popping in here that I would also like to know. We've got what do we have any idea what the fees will be like on the DEX? Has there been any discussion of that?
Yeah, so the fees will be, within a few cents. They have made some recent optimizations. The team is great about giving weekly updates. If you follow, the team, Benjamin, Lucian, Torea, Lucian Minku, and then the rest of the team, I'd recommend going to elrond.com and then looking at the team section, and all of their Twitter links are there. But they're always out in front giving weekly updates. They're the most in-depth weekly updates. But they recently did just make an even further additional optimization in terms of the fees. So they will be negligible. The fees will be, cents, nothing like what you see on Ethereum in terms of either $50 to $100 to $800.
And will there
on the
that makes sense? Will there be benefits for holding MEX tokens? Like, what's the primary benefit of having it, other than price appreciation?
Absolutely. So the power of the MEX token is that it's sort of the backbone of the entire liquidity of the Elrond ecosystem. And so the reason Elrond has made these sort of sequential steps is that the reason Ethereum is still so much the market leader is liquidity plays such a large role. So MEX token will be sort of the backbone in which other tokens, they have about 200 plus partners that will begin to start to launch on the network as this liquidity flows onto the network from the Meyer Exchange launching. And so when you have this occurring with the MEX token, you will have governance rights to the Meyer Exchange, right? You will take advantage of the growth of the Meyer Exchange. You will have obviously the utility of the trade fee collection by being able to take the MEX token and put it into a liquidity pool and capture the 0.25% per trade. And then you'll also be able to farm that MEX token, that LP token that you put into a 50-50 ratio. And so all of those utilities will play a big role, along with the future releases of products and so forth. They will be using
That's
part
huge.
of the MEX token to be able to.
That's huge. That's huge. We do have a lot of viewers in North America wondering, will the DEX be reporting transactions, in this case to the IRS or any of the sort of securities commissions? Has any dialogue been there? I mean, it's a decentralized. Do we know if they'll be doing any reporting? Have they made any mention of that?
So I think here's a couple of things. Like this, more from my background, from being an ex-professor of banking and being so involved with regulatory elements, is that all of these technologies, right, are ledgers, right? They're open ledgers. Anyone can write software code to call the data, and being open source at any point, whether it's regulators or someone else can call that data. So it's not really part of what the technology of a decentralized exchange or decentralized network is it's open source software. So it's not really an option up to the Elrond network, whether that occurs or not. I do think that, these things are going to have to be integrated eventually anyways. But Elrond themselves are simply, building the infrastructure.
Right.
And that is, they're obviously the Meyer wallet and the Elrond web wallet is just an interface to the blockchain itself, right? So like you're the only one who has access to your funds, right? No one else has access to your funds. Even when you stake on the Meyer wallet, it's just tied into a smart contract. Even the validators don't have access to your funds, right? You're the only one who has access.
That makes sense.
To all your funds. And so, the answer, the roundabout answer is I certainly would recommend that people, are very prudent and studious as to reporting. But I would also add that the software from community members like Trust Staking and so forth, they have tax software that can basically do this all for you. No one's expecting someone to be able to write all of the software code that's necessary for all the transactions that will happen on the Meyer Exchange. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I'm sorry. I see Milton right now. I can just see him in the distance. He's gotten in a boat and he's headed deep into the ocean. I think that might have scared him off a little bit.
They'll never find me. No. Report all your tax things. Do it all, especially with Meyer. Look, you put your phone number in there. It's in your mobile.
For anyone that thinks you're hiding, you're never hiding.
You're never hiding.
You're never really hiding.
Okay, so we know that Meyer's launching. We know this is the huge DEX. This is going to revolutionize Elrond. It's going to make it. You're going to be, because I've had the Meyer app since it launched, and you can't really do much with it. You can stake in there and stuff like that. You can transact, but now that the DEX is launching, it's going to change everything. But question, because Elrond, some people might be saying, why are you talking Elrond so much? Well, it's a layer one. It's like an Ethereum. It's like a Solana. So when are we going to see? And last year we saw like 100, I think Elrond did this like 100 days of like supercharging or whatever. And every day they were like announcing these partnerships. once Meyer Dex launches, are we going to see some of the fruits of the labor of all these partnerships? Or when are we going to see all the other projects launching on Elrond? Because I've already seen some advertising or some Twitter feeds for Elrond NFTs. Those seem to be launching soon. So are we going to see like just exponential growth here on Elrond, where like we did with Solana, where we're just going to see a ton of projects launching in the next few weeks?
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is how sort of disruptive technology occurs, especially the growth of a network. And part of Elrond making all of the prudent decisions to test the network, risk, make sure that the risk is in favorable for the community that's participating, is that you sort of get this analogy that Benjamin talks about quite a bit, where you have sort of gradually and then suddenly. And part of this is very helpful economically. Like if people are aware of how pricing mechanics work in adoption, is when you have concentrated levels of demand, right, all at once, it's going to drive massive amounts of price appreciation, because the way market mechanics work is it just deals on the interim supply and demand mechanics. And Elrond's tokenomics is obviously even almost more scarce than Bitcoin in some respects because of the staking, right? On Bitcoin, you have 21 million. Eventually, you have like 17 million now, but no one's able to stake or lock those up. But on Elrond, right, they're the first proof of stake blockchain that has these tokenomics, and so the growth that is about to take place is probably likely the highest amount of growth that is going to occur. And you see this sort of in an exponential mathematical representation. And if you look at most crypto charts, right, you sort of see this like long consolidation pattern and then sort of this logarithmic exponential rise. And I think Elrond is actually, this is that point where the liquidity is the essential nature for being able to launch all the partners in that hyper growth 100 days that we've talked about earlier this year that they were doing and talking about. All these partners, they've had smart contracts live for over a year. They had many different partners. And also Elrond looks at basically trying to partner with projects that have real world utility. And so Holoride is one of the projects that I'm most excited about, because if you're not familiar with Holoride, they actually partnered with Elrond. And the reason they partnered with them is simply because not only is the team very supportive and with helping basically navigate all the complexity of the blockchain, they're highly supportive, they work hand in hand, but they wanted the UX and UI to be super simplistic, right? And so Holoride realized that Elrond was really the only one in the space that were highly focused on this, and it's not something that you can easily go back and do, right? There's tremendous complexity of integration of these elements. And so along with Holoride and along with all of these other projects, the Meyer Launchpad is going to be live, and people will be able to participate in all of the new upcoming projects. You also have Chain Guardians, which will have an initial DEX offering, sort of IDO, where you have sort of gamification of decentralized finance. That will be launching on the Elrond blockchain. And so all of these things that leverage sort of this simplistic UX UI will attract people from outside the space that aren't used to actually interacting with the technology for the first time. And then the NFT marketplace as well will be launching. So the liquidity is what was necessary. And that's why you sort of have this suddenly or gradually and then suddenly, and we're coming upon the suddenly right now.
Would all that said, and that's really helpful. Would you be buying Elrond right now? I mean, for people joining this channel right now and watching us, is now a time to be buying it? I mean, I'm looking at the charts. Obviously, there's been significant growth in the short term here. What's your recommendation to somebody new?
Of course, none of this is financial advice or anything, but
only from Milton is it financial. Anyone else, it's not.
Yeah, I think what's important to realize with Elrond is like the market cap is still minor, right? We're only at 6 billion market cap. And when you take into consideration that is the only thing that matters, right? Price does not matter unless we're shopping for groceries or something else. And so with Elrond, like for me, I'm buying Elrond. I've been buying and accumulating as much as I could possibly accumulate. Originally, when it had its initial growth phase up until like 248. I was accumulating. It went all the way down when Bitcoin crashed. I kept accumulating. I'm still accumulating today. To me, Elrond Network is the best position of any project in the space, and it's simply because of all the elements, including the UX UI and the tokenomics. And that's the complexity of understanding the space, is there's all these variables that sort of intertwined together. And I think that most people who are really diehards in the space are willing to take the time to do the deep research, but most of the masses who are still outside the space aren't. And I think Elrond is going to be the one that captures the majority of that mass adoption market because of the low fees, and particularly because of the integration of the UX UI. It's not just the Meyer app, right? If you look at their Elrond Explorer, if you look at their Meyer Launchpad, if you look at, the Meyer Dex, all of their UX UIs is world-class, right? Most of these other ones, a lot of people would not feel comfortable interacting with it because you have these long numbers, you don't have a hero tag, you don't have the intuitiveness. And when it comes to technology, the reason Apple has been so successful for so long, even though you have similar technology among other phones, is because the simplicity of the UX UI. The majority of the masses are not interested in the technology, they're interested in what it can do and how easy it is to use.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. So yeah, if you're not, okay, look, if you've been watching and you're not excited about Elrond yet, I don't know what's going on. Okay, turn up the volume because Wesley he's pumping out knowledge here, guys. So Elrond must be on your radar. Do your own research. Part of that research should be following Wesley on Twitter. All right, Wesley, time is flying, but we have to touch on the other project that you and I both love. But what the heck is going on with Celsius? What's going on with the Cell token here? We're seeing it down to under $4 now.
What the heck?
It's a tale of two cities. Elrond is pumping. Celsius is... I don't know if I'd say dumping, but it's definitely on a downside right now. Now, Celsius is a centralized company that provides people basically savings accounts. You can lend them. You open up a savings account. You put your crypto in there. They lend it out to people. They make a bunch of money on it. They give most of that back to you, so you get a big yield on your crypto. But what do you think about the tokenomics here about Celsius? Why do you think we're seeing this downside? Because for a long time, it was kind of like a stable coin, Celsius. Like it had its initial pump last year, basically went from nothing up to $7-ish. And then it was very, very stable. Why do you think we're seeing this downturn right now?
Yeah, I actually commented about this last night, and then I have been for quite some time. The interesting element with the Cell token as it integrates with the Celsius platform is that there is tremendous level of aligned interest, but there is some problems to do with the integration of the token in terms of value capture. And I think the market is sensing this. I'm still accumulating at these levels because for one, you got to understand that like the aligned interests are so significant. The equity holders, which are another portion of the capital structure, I'm very, very familiar with capital structure because I used to actually participate in distressed investing and reorganizations and so forth. But with Celsius, they've got a few different challenges, right? The value capture is somewhat at a conflict of interest at this point with the Cell token. And the reason that is because it's not directly integrated with every aspect of, say, the way the equity holders are. And the reason that comes down to is that the Cell token was initially used in an ICO, an initial coin offering, right? They raised money for the organization and the company. And then you had sort of these second rounds of equity raising. They've done a Series A, a Series B. Alex actually holds a large amount. I think he holds like 200, 300 million worth of Cell token. And then you have the company holds actually the majority in the treasury. And so the last thing that they would want is the token to underperform. With that said, Celsius has been probably the most out in front on the regulatory front, and they've been the most conservative, right? So it's actually extremely hard to buy the Cell token. If you're in the USA, essentially what the problem is that you can't actually access it on Binance, you can't access it on Coinbase, you can't access it on FTX, and decentralized exchanges, like we were talking about in terms of the user experience, it's too difficult for most people to use MetaMask, right? It's too difficult for people to do those things. And so the accessibility to buy the Cell token is actually extremely limited in the US right now. And so on top of that, right, the liquidity because of that is limited. And so as you have some of this sort of redistribution, right, which is meaning the founders and all of the early risk takers of Celsius are continually, basically managing their portfolio, reducing some of that risk, it's causing some weakness in the price action.
Yeah.
With that said, I do think that they will figure this out, right?
I agree.
What I posted on yesterday was just that I'm continuing to accumulate the Cell token because I think that these dynamics will get fixed. I have all the faith in the world in Celsius and Alex and the team. They've made every decision in the best interest of the people. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. When you say that you're accumulating it, are you buying it or are you using the app and earning Cell rewards?
So both. I'm buying the Cell token right now, and I'm actually earning yield in the app itself. Here's the challenge, right? Is that essentially Celsius wants everyone to win, and I think that I super aligned with that ethos. The problem is that based on the sort of gray area of the regulation, they don't want to get into the crosshairs of regulators at this point. And so they aren't, like Nexo or Voyager or maybe some of these other utility of C5 platforms aren't actually putting the Cell token inside the app to be able to buy, right? Yeah. They do not want to come under the scrutiny of saying okay, we're selling a security.
I got to say this, Wesley. Yeah, that's totally right. Because I'm not, unlike you, I'm not actually buying Cell, but I earn a lot of my interest in Cell. And I'm actually loving this dip right now because my other crypto that I have in there is going up. And then every week I get more Cell tokens because the Cell token price is going down. So for me, that's kind of because I believe in this project so much long term, and I have no worry about the Celsius token long term. I'm loving this because everything else is up, Cell is down. Every week I make more Cell.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
All right, Wesley. We got to wrap it up just because time's not our friend, but we really, really loved having you on the show. Would love to have you back. Everyone out there listening must follow Wesley on Twitter if you're not already. I don't know what rock you're living under if you're not already following him. It's at Wesley B. Kress. Okay. He is a fountain of knowledge, as you found out this morning. Wesley, my friend, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all you guys do for the crypto community. The education is fantastic.
All right, we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, Wesley.
Really appreciate it. And to everyone.
Oh, we got to give away our Eggtomaton.
Oh, we're giving away an Eggtomaton.
Premature ending music here by Marv.
All right.
We'll do it quickly. All right, everyone watching, you've hung in. Guys, this is exciting. Someone's going to win an Eggtomaton right now. Okay, and as I mentioned, if you want to win, be part of this community. Watch us regularly. Comment. A lot of this is going to be based on the comments from now on, but you also got to retweet and stuff. Today,
you got to get on Milton's good side.
Get on my good side. All right. Killian, I love Killian. She made a great comment, but she already won an NFT in the last couple of weeks. I am going today with Dwayne Hubner. Dwayne Hubner. He's been in the chats. He's been commenting on a lot of these episodes. So, Dwayne, you are going home with an Eggtomaton. All right, so get a hold of us. Hodl at CryptoWise.com.
Dwayne, you got to get a hold of us because if you don't, in 48 hours, we're giving this away to someone else.
All right, Dwayne, get a hold of us. Come on, buddy. I don't think you were watching this morning, so hopefully you'll watch later this afternoon. You're the big winner.
Big winner. Congratulations. And we have a lot of new and exciting NFT prizes to give to our community, our beloved CryptoWisers. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you haven't, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell for real-time alerts. Milton, it's been a blast.
I'll see you tomorrow, Marv.
We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys.